difficult loss. And as a coach, sometimes you don't ever know what you're going to get. Sometimes you're pleasantly surprised. Other times you shake your head. What were you eager to see after what happened in Columbus, bringing into today?
Well, first of all, it's it's a different team. With the guys they've lost. They had 3 guys that were in the rotation early in the year, not with them anymore, with 2 point guards and another 7-footer. And you normally watch tape and you get to this point and you know what's coming through the chute. You don't know if they're going to play all 3 of those guys together, even they did the game before. But they also went against a team that zones a lot. So the uncertainty of what lineup they'll go with, and we really prepared for Minnesota for both lineups that they used. A smaller lineup and obviously the bigger lineup of Milwaukee at the 3. And so that was the concern. Obviously, how we played at Ohio State, what was a huge concern. But I knew, especially with our experienced guys, that they would bounce back. They wanted to kind of revenge that loss and get back on kind of the winning ways and play well. I was proud of our guys, and I think Minnesota is one of the best rebounding teams, if not the best rebounding team in our conference. At least they are statistically. And we've been able to out-rebound in both games. I think that was probably the key stat for the game.
You also, even though he made it to his credit a couple of wild threes at the end, I thought your rotation of guys on Hoffarber, he never got that 2 and 3 bucket rhythm that that shooters can. Talk about that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success guarding Blake in the past. He's really. I think 7 games he's played against us, maybe 8 games. He's only had more than 2 field goals one time, and that was that game. We usually would put Chris Kramer on him and then just try to knock him out and not let him get going. But we've always respected him. The fact that we put Chris Kramer on him shows that we respected him, and he got the best of us at their place. And obviously he always had the coaching staff's respect. I think he definitely got our players' respect, what he did in Minneapolis with that performance that he had. But I thought we did a good job with him. I thought Ryan Smith did the best job on him. He was just very determined not to let him get in that rhythm.
And then the other thing, you finally got Juwan established there in the first half, kind of midpoint on. And then the second half, that seemed to really open up your shooters. You came out, boom, 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 and that created the separation.
Yeah, no question it created the separation. They changed zones earlier in the second half, went to more of their 3-2 they used to do before, and DJ made a 3. We threw over the top of Juwan. They got out of that zone. But I thought we did some good things in the first half, and the ball just didn't go in for us. And I did want our guys to gauge how they played on their field goal percentage at that time, more on their effort, rebounding, making the hustle plays. And then in the second half, they continued to do that, but they made shots. When Ryan made those shots, and it opened some things up for all of our guys.
Matt, can you talk about that stretch there in the final couple of minutes where I think you guys got like 3 or 4 offensive rebounds in the span of about a minute or 2, and it almost kind of cut the rest of the game in half. Just kind of, A, how important that was to you guys closing it out, and B, just that kind of encapsulated what you guys were able to do in the second half, right, in terms of rebounding.
Yeah, well, they're gonna, they're chipping away at you and trying to get back in the game, shooting threes, and you get those offensive rebounds, and they're spending all their time on defense, and then they just, they don't have a chance to go back to the other end to cut into it because we're getting those loose balls and getting those long rebounds, and that was really, I think, the deciding factor there at the end was those offensive rebounds. And you kind of, you work hard to try to push yourself under 10 at that point, and then when you get there, now you got to be able to make some defensive stops and get rebounds and then go down the other end. And our guys just hustled after we missed free throws and we missed shots.
Matt, Ryan has always been a good shooter, but you mentioned his defense today. It seemed like even when he wasn't hitting shots early, he was very busy in 50-50 plays.
Right.
How solid of an overall player do you think he's become now?
Well, he's definitely making improvements. I think he was determined today, to play better defense, to try to stop Blake and not let him get going again. But he's improved in all phases of his game. He does a good job of taking care of the basketball. Obviously, he can really shoot it, and we want him to be aggressive. I think at times, he's a little bit too patient, and he has to have it locked and loaded at all times and let go. And anytime he's making shots like that, it just gives us another weapon.